Electric Soup Kitchen.
Happy Jack wasn't old, but he wasn't bad.
Hi, this is Pete Townsend of The Who. I just want to say that the United States Air Force is a great place to be, a great place to learn a space-age skill and serve your country too. The Aerospace Team, that's where all the breakthroughs are. See your United States Air Force recruiter. Find out how you too can fly the skies, reach for the moon, and touch the stars in the United States Air Force.
Alright, well, hey, let's do this thing.
Alright, have your clocks gone back yet?
They went back like 2 months ago or something.
I was going to say, I thought I got the time completely wrong.
Yeah, it's 20 to 9 now.
Yeah, it's 20 to 4.
Richard, it is episode 5. Got a lot to talk about.
My Christmas edition.
It's the Christmas edition. But the Halloween special got a lot of feedback. And lots of comments. We got a ghost story sent in that I'm going to read out. But there was something, a passing comment about your UFO experience. Got 2 comments from two
comments.
2 comments from 2 people who listen to the podcast. One was from a guy called Dog Patch, who said I'd like to hear about Richard's UFO experience sometime. And one was from a guy called Heavenly Dave, who we'll come back to him later on. But his main question was, did you take part in a fantastic alien sex orgy?
Unfortunately, no.
But do you want
There was no probing to be had.
Well, let's talk about your UFO then. Let's get that out of the way. Set the scene. How old were you?
It's around 12 or 14.
Was it winter, summer, spring?
It was I think maybe autumn.
An autumn evening. 14-year-old Richard Leddy.
Maybe younger, 12. We still had the embankment running at the back of the house, where the old trains used to run.
Oh, so it was near the house.
Yeah, it was only 40 feet away from the house, 50 feet away from the house.
I imagined you were like walking over the moors or something.
No, just me and 2 other mates. I think we were doing a bit of stargazing. I remember we used to like doing that as kids. Apart from one lad who would get very freaked out by about how many stars there actually were. The actual numbers used to freak him out.
There's a lot of stars.
So, yeah, he would never look at them with us. But yeah, so there when I saw this shape going by, cigar shaped.
Cigar shaped.
I think.
Now this isn't my recollection of this story.
Oh, what was your recollection?
You told me it was donut shaped.
Well, that's what I'm going to lead it into.
All right, go on.
Because I was going to say, although you probably remember the story as it being the fact that it was like a sort of brownish colour with the red on top.
Yeah.
So they do look like some sort of bakery treat.
Yeah.
Which, as everyone knows me, would be the one thing I'd want to see floating in the sky, a huge bakery treat.
You know, in cartoons when they're hungry and they see another character as a chicken.
Yeah.
You were like looking up at the moon, just like saw it as a huge donut.
Yeah, because thinking back, it actually quite reminded me of those. Remember those strange? I think it's a Turkish dessert. It's like a pudding with a cherry on top.
Right. I don't know.
Used to get at some of the cafes.
I don't know that dessert, but it was a dessert-based UFO.
Yeah.
And you definitely saw it.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing something. Maybe it was my young imagination, but
did the other people saw it as well? Did they?
I don't know if they saw it as a dessert. I think they saw lights.
Yeah. Everybody saw what they wanted to see when that UFO that night.
Yeah.
Well, that's the story. And did it like shoot off or go at any crazy angles, or what did it do?
No, it's nothing like the sort of classic. It just sort of flew across, and I think I'm trying to remember. It's difficult to remember actually what happened. It was just there, and I think it sort of shut it off. So it probably was just a plane or something, and my sugar.
Don't say that. It was a UFO.
I know, there's
Dog
not many that have
patch.
been described as donut shapes with chairs on top.
Yeah, well. Anyway,
It's not the classic UFO.
well, what is your classic UFO? It's like a saucer, isn't it?
Yeah,
With lights.
I guess.
Think
Or
about-
some metallic rather than
The thing about UFOs
donut
is
coloured.
the design of them always fits the decade they were seen in. So like
Yeah.
a 50s UFO looks like a 50s car, and it doesn't look like an 80s car, which is what it should look like, shouldn't it?
Yeah, you think there would be more differences.
Well, that's suspicious. Well, a lot of the photographs, if you look at 50s photographs, they look like somebody from the 50s imagining a UFO. Anyway, let's quickly go through what else I want to talk about, and then we'll crack on. I'm going to talk about Torchwood, Doctor Who spin-off, the Doctor Who Christmas special, and have you heard about their remaking The Thing?
Ah, no, I hadn't heard that.
We'll talk about
that looks sick.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then we also want to talk about some other podcasts that have mentioned us and just given us a help with just like mentioning us in their podcast. So I'll do the favour back. And then we've got some music at the very end. Going to play some music by a guy called John Sturman, who's a student at Berklee College of Music, which is over there. It's in Boston, I think. And he's sent us in a piece of jazz.
Oh,
but
very
we've-
nice end to the show.
Yeah, well, if people go to the website, electricsoupkitchen.com, I've sort of been doing a lot of work on it to make it easier to send stuff in, especially after like we got these comments sent in from the Halloween special, which just got a lot of attention. Maybe it was because it was Halloween or people were searching for ghost stories, but so the website now is all set up for people to go and send comments or emails or that you can leave an audio comment. There's a link on there, and so there's tons of stuff on there just for people to give feedback, and then we can talk about it. And so go have a look at that, electricsoupkitchen.com. And also following on from the Halloween special, Oliver, my nephew, the computer games reviewer, Mini Ingy, he told me his ghost story about he'd driven past this corner in the village where he lives, and he saw a ghostly figure, and then he looked back and it was gone. So I told him to go out and get a photograph to put on the website. Now he swears this is true, and I talked to him about it in this episode when he does his computer game review. He went out and he took a picture, and when he brought it back, there's a fog and a mist on the picture that he swears blind wasn't there when he took it. And his mum backs him up. And she says it wasn't. There was nothing there. And
That's a very spooky mist.
are you looking at it now?
Yeah, there's almost faces in there.
Well, this is the thing. So we may have captured a ghost. It's on the website, electricsoupkitchen.com. You got the look section, and he swears blind that it wasn't there. I mean, he certainly hasn't added it because you can see the flash on the mist.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
Yeah, and it's no
Oh,
bullshit. It's not. It's nothing I'm making up. I asked him to do it, and he went out, and this is what came back. I mean, he could be, trying to pull a fast one, but he's resolute that he didn't. So to follow up, I've asked him to go out with his MP3 player and do an a location recording, and we'll put that in next month's.
Oh, look forward to that.
Truth is stranger than fiction. And this is the proof. This is Ripley's Believe It or Not.
The Death's Head Moth was first seen in Blinkenwood, England on January 30th, 1649, on the very day King Charles I of England was beheaded. Believe it or not. In a moment, I'll tell you the unusual story of the only people who never get fat. Here's a way to make sure you stay on your diet. Take a lesson from the natives of the Nuba tribe in Africa. They cut small portholes as the only entrance to their huts. By doing this, they keep their families very figure conscious. Any member of the family who does not eat sparingly eventually will not fit through the small opening, and therefore is automatically barred from the house. Believe it or not.
I'll follow up with an email that we had. Now this is from A guy called Jim Conley, who heard episode 2 might remember, sent in the music. He's in the band Friends of Batman, and we played 2 of their songs in episode 2. He sent in this email. I'll read it to you, Richard. Hello, Marcus and Richard. Not sure if this story is crap, but here goes. So, we'll be the judge of whether it's crap. My old housemate had been doing lots of decorating, and I had struggled to sleep in our house because the fumes kept affecting my asthma. One such evening, I decided to sleep on my friend James's floor and went round with my sleeping bag and respective bedwear to his flat. It was a weeknight and we were all pretty shattered. His girlfriend Helen was also present that night, and we all crashed out pretty quickly. At about 3 a.m. I woke up in a state of being half dreaming and half awake, and looked to see a man stood in the centre of the room touching my friend's stereo. I put this down to being a dreamy hallucination, as I had previously seen similar things, such as a ginger cat on my bed when I was suffering from the flu. I fell back to sleep again, but woke up a few hours later and again saw the man in the room. This time I could see he was wearing retro-style 70s clothing, and was a young guy of 20 to 30 with a white t-shirt on. I remember him again messing with the stereo, and then looking down at me and seemingly noticing that I was looking at him. He looked right at me. Again I nodded off. I think I may have seen him a third time, but I can't remember. In the morning, I thought how odd it was that I'd seen such a clear hallucination more than once, and mentioned it to my friend James and his girlfriend Helen. Their bed was actually in the same room, so first of all, I'm just going to stop there. What sort of a great friend James is. He's like, yeah, come and sleep at the foot of my bed with me and my girlfriend. So respect to James, but and then he's seeing ghosts. His girlfriend would be like, look, that guy's not staying anymore. But their bed was in the same room, so the stereo was visible at the foot of their bed, and Helen told me that she had seen a man stood in exactly the same spot in the past. I even remembered her telling me about it several weeks before, although she had attributed it to her hallucination from some sleep hypnosis tapes that she had used to put on at night. Her description of the man was similar to mine. I considered that if he was a ghost of my approximate age from the 1970s, it would seem viable that he would be mostly interested in some futuristic-looking stereo if he was stuck hanging around my friend's flat. He may have even questioned James's taste in music, as many others have over the years. I'm not sure if it was real or just a coincidence. The man didn't look menacing, and the experience wasn't frightening because I wasn't really in the right mindset to think it through whilst it was happening. What do you think to that?
That's a strange one.
Both seeing a similar figure is strange. But I emailed Jim back and I said, people in 70s clothes, it could be a member of Pulp in Sheffield, just wandered in.
Stealing stereos.
Yeah. Well, people in 70s clothing just confused by stereos, probably, it's not that uncommon.
And neither is 70s clothes in Sheffield.
Yeah. But it's a good story. I'm glad he sent it in.
It is, yeah.
It's a bit spooky.
It's interesting both of them seeing it.
The best bit is that the ghost looked at him. That's always the spooky bit in the ghost story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like people, if you see something, but it's then when it notices you looking at it, that's always the spooky bit.
Computer game reviews.
Right, Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to review this month?
Rollercoaster Tycoon 3.
Rollercoaster Tycoon 3.
Yep.
But before we do that, I want to talk about your picture of that haunted corner.
Yeah.
So, very quickly, just tell the story that you told last month. Just very quickly tell it again.
When driving the car and saw something on the path, and then after we drove past it, it was gone.
So then you went. I asked you to go out and take a picture, which is on the website.
Mm-hmm.
But something happened when you took the picture.
Yeah, there was fog on the bottom.
So there's fog, and you can see if people go to the website and have a look in the look section, you can see fog in this picture. But what you're saying is there was no fog when you took it.
No, there was nothing.
And you swear blind that you didn't do anything or haven't touched the picture.
I haven't done anything.
What, swear on your entire family's lives.
Yeah, I swear on my entire family's lives.
All right. So what do you think it could be?
I don't know. Joe said he saw some sort of face in it, but I
And your
don't.
brother,
I can't.
you don't know. Well, listen. As a follow-up to this,
Mhm.
have you still got your MP3 player that you can record on?
Yeah.
Well, as a follow-up to this, I want you to go out one night when it's dark with your MP3 player
Yeah.
and stand in the corner where the spooky fog was. Just to be clear, you couldn't see the fog, could you?
No.
It was just when you took the photograph. And I know that you haven't done anything to the photograph, and I've talked to your mum, and she swears blind as well that
Mhm.
there's definitely fog on the photograph. Go out with your MP3 player and just record, like, just what's been where you are, talk about where you are, and see if you get anything on that, yeah?
Mhm.
And we'll play that on the next episode. All right then, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Right. Well, on Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think there's 2 modes. First mode's career mode, and you can. You've already got a park built on it,
Mm.
but you've got to keep building onto it, earning money to make it a good park.
Mm.
And you get 3 levels that you can get to. You've got to get to Tycoon level. I can't remember what the others was. Or you can go on sandbox mode, and that's where you can just build your own park, and you've got unlimited money, so you can build your own roller coasters as big as you want, and then you get all sorts of you can get them rides like Ferris wheels and all sorts.
So, and you run it like a business,
Yeah.
and the aim of the game is to make money.
Yeah.
How many ingy thumbs up do you give it?
8 again.
8 ingy thumbs up. It's a lot of thumbs up. It's always a lot of thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh well, that was good. Thanks for that. Of course, in about 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be going on roller coasters ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because where are we going?
Miami and Florida.
We're going to Orlando. All right then. I will see you just before Christmas.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for that. And you're going to go out and do some location recording from the Haunted Corner, yeah?
Yeah.
And if people believe you or don't believe you, they can go to the website electricsoupkitchen.com and they can see the photograph for themselves.
Yeah.
All right. See you.
I see.
Bye. We had another email from this is from Heavenly Dave. I said I'd get back to him. And he listened to the chat about Diary of the Dead. Did the script review of Diary of the Dead.
Yeah.
Which made me think, actually, I want to do maybe some more script reviews. Did you get those scripts I sent you?
No, I haven't received any from you.
I sent you an email. There's a choice of 2 that I'll email them to you, and we can decide which one we want to do, or people can even email in and say which one they want us to do. I've got
put it to the vote.
Yeah, I've got the Piranha remake, the Joe Dante film.
All right.
They're remaking that. I've got scripts of that. Are you wrestling in the background there,
Sorry.
Richard? I've got a film called The Mutant Chronicles, which is a big film coming out next year with Ron Perlman. It's been shot over here, but I think it's an American film. So next episode we could do either Piranha or Mutant Chronicles, so whichever.
Whichever the public decide.
Exactly. But this links into Diary of the Dead. So Heavenly Dave, he sent us a comment on the there's a Chew the Fat section of the website, and you can go and leave comments on there. And he looked up, he said there's a British film called Zombie Diaries, and that's at zombiediaries.com. And he said it looks a similar story and style to Diary of the Dead. I went and had a look. The trailer's on there. It looks really low budget, but it looks interesting. It is sort of handheld documented, but it looks a bit more sort of the army driving about, and 28 days later. But it's worth having a look. I've never heard of it. It's probably worth checking out. And I think, from what I could tell from the website, they just finished filming and they're promoting it. So that's zombiediaries.com.
Yeah, I had a little look at it. I did a bit of a search.
What did you find out?
Look at search. Yeah, I thought it looked quite interesting.
Yeah, and they had some photographs. Like some of the zombie makeup looks good, doesn't it?
It does actually, yeah. Which makes a nice change.
Yeah, we've got a bit of experience ourselves in zombie videos, so got to give them some support.
Speak from experience.
Yeah. Anyway, Heavenly Dave followed up, and this is another. This is part of his same comment. I'm not quite sure what this links to, but I'll read it out to you. You know the Swedish food you can buy at IKEA? Well, I recently purchased a mattress from there, and once home I needed a hand to get the said mattress up the stairs. So to tempt a cider drinking friend of mine, he bought 2 cans of Swedish pear cider from the IKEA food section. Brackets, I prefer Perry to champagne. Fair enough. I bought 2 cans just in case he wouldn't help out for one. I've still got one left. Anyway, to get to the point, he said it was the most disgusting drink he'd ever tasted, but I can't believe it's that bad. So I wondered, has anyone else had this experience with Swedish Perry cider? I shall report back when I've had mine. Well, he never reported back, so we need to find out what he thinks about Swedish Perry cider. But then that gave me an idea for a little section called the Human Guinea Pig, which is where Martin McNaught, friend of ours, people can email in and he will test things and we'll record them, and it can be anything, like food or drink or music or films, and we'll run them by the Human Guinea Pig and get his reactions. So I've done Swedish Perry cider from IKEA, and this is how it went down with Martin McNaught, the Human Guinea Pig.
Doesn't taste very peary. Doesn't taste the cider either. I can only taste so sweet, so I just stand. Sorry.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's nice, but it's non-alcoholic, isn't it? It's more like juice than there's no taste like cider there. There's no kick or bite or anything. It's just like fruit juice.
Ellery Queen's Minute Mysteries. This is Ellery Queen with the case I call The Big Mistake. A farmhand was the prime suspect in the murder of a wealthy farmer named Mayberry. The fact that his overalls were a mixture of dry mud and wet blood made him look very guilty. But I didn't do it, he claimed. It was raining hard and I was bringing in the tools when I saw him in the barn, bleeding to death. I ran inside, but he died in my arms. I told him, it's a good story, but you're a murderer just the same. In a moment, I'll explain why. In the case of The Big Mistake, the farmhand said he ran in out of the rain and found his employer dying. Yet the mud on his overalls was dry and the blood wet. If he were telling the truth, the mud would have been wet too. Listen again to Ellery Queen's Minute Mysteries.
Film and television.
Let's do a bit of film and TV, but before that, I'll just talk about 2 podcasts that mentioned us. Starship Sofa. I sent you a link to them. Did you manage to listen to them?
No, I haven't got any of these emails.
I think you'll love Starship Sofa. It's 2 Geordies, and they talk for about an hour about different sci-fi authors, and they do like it's nearly one a week, I think. But they go into an amazing depth and the research and detail about each author. I think there are about 24, 25 episodes now. When you go on their website, starshipsofa.com, there's this huge archive of really well-produced and well-researched podcasts about science fiction authors. And
definitely like that.
Talking to the man who...
everything.
Yeah, well, I know I'm talking to the man who ran out of science fiction books in the Bradford Library. They had to start importing them in from Halifax or somewhere because she'd read them all. I thought you'd like that. That's a good one. Another one that I found. I got a little, Krista, it won in a raffle, a little, like the little personal media players They're like you can play video and music on them. They're like it's like a
Yeah.
video iPod, but it's not. It's I can't remember what make it is, Arcos or something. But there's tons of public domain films that you can download for it, and I went to a site called publicdomaintorrents.com, and then another video podcast that does. It's called the Cult of UHF.com, and they do B movies. And there's this guy, the Reverend Wright Chumley, in a like bishop's outfit, who like introduces them and talks about them. So they're both worth looking at. The Cult of UHF, and public domain torrents. But like Night of the Living Dead's in the public domain. Deep Red, Dario Argento's in the public domain. There's a film called The Last Man on Earth, based on the Amiga Man. Richard Matheson, I Am Legend. That story.
Yeah.
That's in the public domain. So I've been going through these listings like a pig, just downloading them all, and they're relatively small files, so I can get quite a lot on this little handheld thing.
So because the public domain, now that means you can download them and watch them whenever you want.
Yeah.
Does it also mean, can you alter them? Could you go and like re-record new dialogue or edit them? And
yeah, nobody. The copyright has either run out or hasn't been renewed, or has been owned by a company that no longer exists. So yeah, they're in the public domain. There's no copyright on them. Nobody can. Nobody has a legal right to. If you wanted to burn them as DVDs and sell them, that will be fine.
No, I just think about want to re-edit some of them, or just mess around and put new dialogue over stuff.
Well, somebody did do that with Night of the Living Dead. One of the original producers did an anniversary DVD special edition about 4 years ago, and shot new footage that is. I haven't seen it, but it's totally like chopped in and out of place, and like higher quality, and just did a horrible like re-edit. If you look in DVD shops, there's tons of Night of the Living Dead's out because anybody can release it. But yeah, you could. Well, what do you fancy re-editing? Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe?
Oh, that might be good.
I tell you what, King Kong needs a re-edit, but that would be illegal. Not the original King Kong. It's weird because the original King Kong, I don't know. I think somehow they get around copyright by trademarking. Like all the Universal monsters are trademarked.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but anyway. Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off, Richard. Have you seen any of it?
I have. The power of the internet. I've been getting all the episodes.
And?
I quite like it. It's nice to see it's a bit more adult.
Yeah.
It's not always the best direction, but I quite like it. It's growing on me.
It's not working for me.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the Doctor Who connection is a bad thing because it's sort of I don't know. It doesn't link back to Doctor Who very well for me. That character, the Captain Jack character, isn't the same character that was on Doctor Who anyway.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, he's a completely different character. He's like all mean and moody in this, and in Doctor Who he was like some bisexual Han Solo or something.
You mean Han Solo wasn't?
Well, is Chewie? Does Chewie count as bisexual? By species?
Yeah.
He was definitely doing something with Chewie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But
you had to keep that big beast happy somehow.
Yeah, by Be Still, by Wookiee. Wookiee Bye Bye. That's the song. But yeah, it's not working for me. And the Russell T Davies does this. He's got this obsession with like people talking about eating chips and lasagna. He does it in Doctor Who, like it makes it really grounded and in reality. And in every episode of Torchwood, somebody seems to be having a burger or having a pizza. And then, did you see the one with the Cyberwoman?
Yeah.
And then the random pterodactyl like attacks her. It's the only thing that can stop her.
Sprayed her with barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not working for me, so I'm a bit disappointed with that. There's 13 episodes. The last one I saw, you probably won't have seen this one, but it picked up a little bit. There was one.
They keep killing Sousa?
Oh yeah, you have seen it.
I'm just getting it at the minute.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, that was all right, and that set up a little bit of a story arc about things that maybe were happening at the beginning, and that there's some she's been dead, and she knows that she says there's something coming through the darkness for Captain Jack because he can't die. So that's sort of, I like that, but I'm not totally convinced. But we've got the Doctor Who Christmas special in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's go on.
Oh no, so I quite liked getting back into Doctor Who.
Yeah. Well, that has got some giant spider thing, and it's an invasion. I think there's London and the army running around and all that sort of stuff. And
That's always good.
Yeah, it's always good to see London get invaded. Let's get Richard. It's with a heavy heart. The Thing remake. What do you think?
It could be good. It's a good story. There's always been sort of room to expand on it.
Yeah.
You know, a bit more about the spaceship, perhaps, or you know, what would happen if one of them did survive at the end.
I think I just feel too close to that original. I feel protective.
Is it a remake? Is it going to be a prequel, a sequel, or?
Well, it's apparently the script has been written by the guy who does the new series of Battlestar Galactica, so they're good. So.
Yeah.
But in some weird sort of Hollywood speak, they said it's a companion piece to John Carpenter's, which was a remake in itself anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's this thing. Does a bad remake affect how much you like the original?
No, I think a bad remake, that thing makes you like the old one even more.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
You sort of rally back around it.
But it's that the John Carpenter one is perfect. It's his best film by a mile.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know. They can't improve it. And then if they do something different, then it becomes a different thing. I mean, really, I wish that they'd given him the money to make a sequel, because there's tons that could be done with a sequel.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. I'm not happy about that. I may have to go.
Yeah, as long as they're going like a lot of remakes these days, which are just shot for shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is no point to that.
Yeah. I mean, I
if it's like Alien and Aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's not really a remake, but it carries the story on, and a completely different type of film.
Yeah. Well, that's because they made Aliens an action film, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they could do that with the thing. The thing made a great action film.
Oh yeah, definitely. You've got that whole thing of it spreading and widespread panic and stuff.
Yeah, and they've still got to keep that sort of Arctic or Antarctic sort of setting to some extent, because that adds a lot to it. Getting quickly back to Doctor Who, I ordered a Christmas Dalek off this guy on the internet. I can't remember the name of his website. But it's just they're totally handmade. Again, there's a picture on the website, electricsoupkitchen.com, if anybody wants to see the picture of it. But it's handmade is its charm. But it's, I know if you do a search for handmade Daleks and Yetis, you'll find this site, and they're £10. And they're all it's heavy, you know, it's got some weight to it. It's all made out of clay, and I'm very proud of it. It's on my mantelpiece right now.
What's so Christmas about?
It's got a Santa's hat on and a white beard.
Ah.
Richard, may I suggest, as the co-host of this podcast, you go to the bastard website and have a look at the things I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you mean that's like something you just got, so.
It's what? You broke up then.
I thought you said something you were getting, so you hadn't arrived yet.
No, he's arrived. I'm looking at him now. He's on my mantelpiece.
Well, I'm trying to pull up, but the website isn't working. Not yours, the Yeti website.
Oh, is it not? He's
Yeah.
probably swamped for Christmas.
Come on, lads, there's a big rush on.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, actually. He really kept in touch and sent me lots of emails. And he apparently there's some Dalek forum, and some anonymous person had been bad-mouthing his Daleks, and he got in touch with me. He was like, "Are you totally happy with your Dalek?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm totally happy with it." He was like, "Oh, someone's been bad-mouthing my Daleks on the Dalek forum." And I said, "No, it's not me. I'm perfectly happy."
News.
German police were shocked to see a Californian highway patrol car cruising along the motorway, driven by a man dressed as an authentic American cop. But they recovered sufficiently enough to book the 35-year-old, whose uniform badge read TJ Laser. And he had a replica Smith & Wesson and an out-of-date registration plates. He was sitting at the wheel with his elbow on the window, like the best TV crime series said, police officer Martin Schaffer. Because wearing such uniform in public is prohibited, he had to exchange it with... they had to take him to a shop and he had to buy him real clothes. And the man said he was taking it to the 30-year-old vehicle to Bavaria to sell it and wanted to impress the buyer. So he wanted he wanted to impress the guy who was going to buy his car by turning up dressed as TJ Laser. And another little geeky detail: TJ Laser was like the cop series within RoboCop. Don't know if you remember, but his kids used to watch TJ Laser. So that's that's where he's got the name from. But if that's true, I mean, he might just want to cruise around. I suspect he just wanted to cruise around as TJ Laser. But if that's true, if you were buying that car, would it, you know, if you're thinking, I'm not sure about this, and then he turned up and you saw him dressed as TJ Laser, would that seal the deal?
It probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he's like going to throw in the uniform or something. You got the whole thing there.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the website now. It's a very nice Dalek.
It is, isn't
very
it?
festive.
Yep.
Although your picture, it looks like those pictures on the web, before and after pictures of crack.
Before and after pictures of what?
Of somebody being on crack.
That was, I'm taking on my mobile phone, laid in bed early one morning. And I thought that'd do for the website, really. Just, I'm trying to put off stalkers. There's another quick news story. This sounds really cool, actually, and I haven't been able to find out the result. But the Blind World Cup has been taking place, and they wear blindfolds even though they are blind, and the ball makes a noise. Apparently, it says it sounds like a rattlesnake. You can't cheer. The sidelines are like clear plastic to keep the players in. And they have to shout, they all have to shout that they're going for the ball. I'd love to see it if it was on TV. It sounds like it'd be amazing. But that's all I could find out about. I couldn't find out who won.
That is strange.
Yeah, but they have like protective eye masks and they have to keep one arm out. But they really run, and people like get damaged, like running and banging into each other. And it's all listening, and they sort of find the noise of the ball. I know, and like in the World Cup, like Brazil have got a great team for some reason.
But why do they have to wear blindfolds? Like they don't trust them.
Well, at least that goes back to the Olympics that we talked about last week, where the rowing team was men pretending to be women.
Yeah.
There was one last news story I wanted to talk about. You'll have missed this, but it was a legless driver in 80-mile-per-hour car chase. He was a double amputee who led police on a high-speed car chase. But I saw a picture of this guy. He wasn't like just above his knees or something. He had no legs. He was just a waist. From the waist down, there was nothing. Apparently, he'd been hit by a train when he was a kid. And he was driving the car with 2 broom handles. And he got up to 80 miles per hour. He's 27-year-old, and this marked police car spotted him, and they activated their sirens, and he shot off. And it was 3 miles. He was doing this 80-mile-per-hour car chase with broom handles, and it was only when they examined the car and he had duct tape that was attaching the handles to the pedal. But what I don't understand, and I don't drive. How was he? How was he changing gears? So you got to push the clutch down.
Well, this was automatic.
Yeah, I bet that's what it was. He also had traces of heroin and cocaine in his blood at the time. So he was partying.
So he really was wasted.
There's an argument not to do drugs, not because you get addicted or it ruins your health, but they say people take LSD think they can fly. Double amputees start to want to go
That's
for a
a great idea.
drive. I feel like going for a drive. Yeah, but you haven't got any
And
legs,
they
Nick.
said it couldn't be done.
I know. Well, I'll use those broom handles.
You never know. So many great invention I'm sure has been discovered.
What? Taking drugs, somebody say, I feel like doing this. I'll use the broom handles.
Yeah, electron microscope. It all came from there.
I feel like looking at some microscopic germs. You can't use broom handles for that. Well, you can, but you won't see microscopic germs. I think that might just about do us, Richard.
Okay.
What are you doing for Christmas then? I know your folks are coming over.
Yeah, they come out tomorrow.
That's
they
exciting.
Come up after work.
How long are they staying for?
3 weeks.
Wow.
So they're here over the New Year's as well.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Some cheap babysitting as well.
Yeah, that's massive bonus. I want to... You haven't got me anything, have you? I mean, I don't expect anything. And if it's something big and expensive, it's just going to embarrass me. So just let's make just make it very clear. Don't expect anything. If there's any little
Alright.
surprises turning up, it's better to tell me now, just so I can be in for the postman.
To sign for it.
Yeah, I will need to sign if it's big and heavy. Is there
If it's
anything
big and
coming?
heavy, it's probably me.
Yeah. Well, you've put yourself in a box, post yourself over here to get away from your parents after 3 weeks.
But yeah, there's one strange bit is Christmas Eve. We're going down to for a party, but it's been thrown by Jen's ex-mother-in-law.
Right.
So plus her ex will be there. So my parents will get to meet all the ex-family.
Oh, yeah, that's the extended family. The
It's super good. I mean,
in-laws.
we're all cool together. We have met before and stuff.
Well, that's
But
good.
they haven't. But
What better time of year than Christmas to
Yeah, it
get
should be good.
together with your wife's ex, give him a big hug, and wish him all the best. I just want to quickly add at the end, if you're on the website now, you'll be able to see this. Oh, there's 2 things I want to talk about. 3 things. One is I've got some badges made. Because I basically go on this site. It was on eBay, but this guy's got his own website. And I just wanted to order some badges. So I've got some soup kitchen badges. And if people want them, they're free. And if you just send in your name and address, we'll send one out and you can have it totally free. The last thing is now we're going to play some music. John Sturman, who sent this in, bit of jazz. It's an original composition. And John's a student at Berklee College of Music, and this is it's like a live recording, so it's all played by Berklee students. But he wrote it and conducted it, and that's what we're going to finish with. But then after that, there's a tiny little MP3 that I found, which is the sound of Saturn's radio emissions. Yeah, I sent this to you as an email. Some must have. Maybe I was sending them to the wrong email address. But storms on the surface of storms on the surface of Saturn give off radio emissions, and they come to Earth. And they've recorded them. This is from NASA, and there's some university over there. I can't remember which isn't very helpful. There's probably a lot of universities in America, but it's one of the universities in America that has released this MP3. And what they've actually compressed it, so it's 73 seconds corresponds to 27 minutes. So what you're listening to is 27 minutes of Saturn's radio emissions, but it's compressed down to just over a minute on this MP3 we'll play at the end. And but it sounds like a 50s science fiction film.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's this weird, haunting, sort of spooky, high-pitched sci-fi noise. But this is the actual noise that's coming from Saturn as we speak. All right, so on that note, Richard, I wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah,
A very good one.
And like I said,
first for your young'un?
it will be his second.
Oh, all right.
Yes. It will be his second. And I just triple check. There's nothing turning up, is there?
Probably not.
No, nothing.
But you never know.
Well, I think I do.
I might send Dino down, dressed as an elf or something.
Well, that would be a Christmas miracle. All right then, I'll talk to you later.
Alright, take
Bye.
care.